stories with me, George Maringa. As I told you, tonight we place politics on the side for a moment and look at the disaster that we face as a country. And that involves water. We have seen the torrents of water that have been flashing and gushing in various parts of the country. Unexpected areas have flooded, and of course this speaks to many issues regarding water management, and that's why tonight we are demystifying floods and water management. My guest is none other than Professor Engineer Bancy Mati, Director, Water Research and Resource Center at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT. And just to give you, to tell you who Professor is, she is Professor Engineer Bancy Mati is the Director, Water Research and Resources Center, WAREC, and Professor at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT, in the Soil, Water and Environmental Engineering Department as WEED. She holds a PhD degree from the Faculty of Agricultural Engineering, Food Production and Rural Land Use, that is from Cranfield University of the United Kingdom, as well as an MSc degree in Land and Water Management and a BSc degree, Bachelor of Science degree in Agricultural Engineering, both from the University of Nairobi. She is a registered consulting engineer, a fellow of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, that is IEK, and lead expert in environmental impact assessment, that is EIA. Professor Engineer, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on the program. Prof, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Am I audible also?
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I trust you're well. It's been quite a heavy day for you, I reckon.
Yes, it has.
Brilliant. And so, I mean, at the top of it all, we've seen the situation of the flooding, the floods in the country and all that is going on. I'd like to begin by, picking your mind as an expert. When the Kenya Meteorological Department issued an alert that we were going to have floods, as an expert, as a scholar in this field, what should have gone in the minds of policymakers and those in governance in the country?
Let me start by saying that floods, just like droughts, are disasters, meaning they are things that disrupt our people's lives,
yes,
and people's livelihoods, and even take away life. Yet they are not so unexpected. They are expected to happen even before people gave their alert. But the minute they give the alert, they hand down their job, because there's something we call disaster preparedness cycle. The disaster cycle there are some things we do even when there is no disaster. Then there are things we do when we have been told that disaster is coming. Then there are things we do during the disaster. And then there are things we should do, like let's say next month when the disaster ends. So since you have focused your question on when we learned about this, which I believe I can remember very well, it was sometime last year. What we should have done, or what the policymakers should have done, is preparedness for what's happening now. Preparedness is water. A flood is actually water which is lacking somewhere to go, and it goes wherever it can find an easy route to pass through. So floods happen either because you are in the wrong place where the water will find itself going to, or you are in the wrong place where the water will find a path as it is looking for where to go to. Or you are, something has happened which is sudden. So one thing we should have done is, first and foremost, prepare the way for the water. Water will need to go somewhere. It will be more than normal water, because that's what a flood is. It's more than the normal rainfall we get. It's more than the normal. So that even the scale of the disaster we have seen should have been at least half, if not completely eliminated. So prepare the way for the water, prepare the people, prepare even where it shall go, because it has to end up somewhere. And then flood waters are too much water. So they are not, I'm a conservator of what I write a lot about water conservation, and I learn about water harvesting. But this is water that is beyond the harvesting. So we say for what can be harvested, but we must remember we need to get rid of the excess. So how and to where we get rid of this excess should have been part of the preparedness.
And what would that, preparedness involve, Professor, in terms of, creating the waterways? Because we are seeing even in unexpected areas, we did see the UN complex is flooded, residential areas. Where ideally should these, waterways be constructed, especially in a country and in a setting like our own?
For once, we have seen a disaster that has affected the urban people maybe as much as, if not more, than the rural.
Yes.
But our disaster has several fronts. Of course, we have the excessive natural rainfall beyond any that has been seen in the last, 50, 60 years. Then there is the pavements and the concrete jungle that our cities are, whereby every drop that comes must run off immediately because it cannot sink where it used to sink maybe 100 years ago when Nairobi was starting. So I think our problem is we have to revisit, and this has been said a lot of time, is we have to revisit infrastructure,